Kill Bill is a film that in its title contains the goal of the main character and the possible ending. Even before the viewing begins, you can understand what the plot will be about. Even the opening credits contain a Klingon proverb: "Revenge is a dish best served cold." Kill Bill is a revenge story. In this film, at first glance, everything is extremely simple. There's a hero, there's a villain, and 4 henchmen of the villain who need to be defeated before getting to the final boss. And that's exactly what happens. All 4 get what they deserve. The boss dies. The hero rides off into the sunset. The end. The triumph of revenge in its purest form. But is everything really that simple? Would such an unconventional thinking director make an absolutely straightforward film? The film is called Kill Bill, but the irony is that Beatrix never actually kills Bill in the end. Yes, that's right, and everything leads to this from the very first minutes. What if Kill Bill isn't a film about revenge, but about forgiveness? And killing the villains isn't the most important thing the author wanted to show? A cruel, bloody film about mercy sounds crazy enough, but not for Tarantino. To answer the film's main question, we need to analyze everything in chronological order. Let's start with events that happened 4.5 years before the present time. We see hitwoman Beatrix Kiddo. The first change in her life happens when she learns she's pregnant, and her mentality makes a sharp leap, completely changing from cold-blooded killer to mother. This instantly reflects on her. We see her unwillingness to kill the girl who attempted her own life. She resolves the conflict peacefully, despite clearly having the opportunity to kill. From the life of a killer to the life of an ordinary woman in one evening. This is exactly what Bill talks about in his monologue, discussing comic book superheroes. Peter Parker wakes up an ordinary person. He needs to put on a mask to become Spider-Man. Bruce Wayne wakes up an ordinary person. He needs to put on a mask to become Batman. But a hero like Superman wakes up as Superman. He needs to put on a mask to become Clark Kent. The question: where is the true personality of the hero? And where is his alter ego? Clark Kent is a criticism of the entire human race. He sees people as insecure, cowardly, unable to stand up for themselves, just like Beatrix Kiddo and Mrs. Plimpton. Even wearing the Orlin Plimpton costume, she remains a cold-blooded killer. Can a hitwoman one day wake up an ordinary person? Her attempt to live an ordinary person's life leads to a gunshot to her head and a 4-year coma. Waking up after 4 years, she discovers she's no longer pregnant. She makes a leap in the opposite direction. She's a killer again. Beatrix goes to Japan, where we witness a bloodbath in the tea house, after which she kills Oren Ishii. During this action, we observe how a seed of mercy sprouts in Beatrix. She spares a young man from the crime gang, spanking him with the flat side of the sword on his behind, sending him home to mommy. This could be attributed to Tarantino's sense of humor, but it's not that simple. Vernita Green, the second name on the death list, leads Beatrix's mentality to another fundamental change. When Kiddo realizes that little Nicky saw her kill her mother, Beatrix's first reaction is shame, remorse, and regret. She tries to hide the knife behind her leg. Let's arrange all events in chronological order. We have 2 films and 5 people from the death list. Oren Ishii, Vernita Green, Bud Ella driver Bill. We'll also place on the timeline Beatrix's other victims: the rapist orderly, Oren's subordinates, and the Crazy 88 gang. Why did Tarantino cut the central episode of Vernita's murder story and place it at the very beginning of the film? Because the first killing shown in the film is actually the last one. After Vernita, no one else dies by her hand. This episode is key, the most important in the film. This isn't just a killing. Beatrix kills a mother in front of a child and understands she acted no better than those who wronged her. She tries to hide the knife. Her eyes show nothing but regret. This episode marked the transition from killer alter ego to ordinary person. Beatrix begins to turn away from the path of revenge. realizing she took the wrong road. And only after this do we learn how she got on this path. At the end of the first part, while making the list, we hear Hattori Hanzo's advice. The path of revenge is never straight. It's like a forest. And like in a forest, on this path it's easy to lose your way, get lost, forget how you got here. After killing Vernida, the Black Mamba no longer knows how she ended up on this road. This road isn't for her. Bill claimed that Beatrix the killer is her true self, while the loving mother is just an alter ego. But Hanzo was convinced of the opposite. He knew he was giving the blade into the hands of a person seeking peace, not revenge. Why did the greatest swordsmith, who swore 28 years ago never to create weapons again, forge one more sword? Because of Bill? There were many ways to stop him without a sword, and before her, many people wanted to kill him. Hattori Hanzo understood this woman wasn't seeking revenge. If you recall the film after some time, it seems Beatrix killed about 100 people across both parts. But if you look closer, you'll notice that all of Beatrix's killings happen in the first film. In the second, she doesn't kill anyone at all. How can this be? She was running around the whole film with a drawn sword. But the fact remains, in the first film, 68 victims. In the second, 0. This is a huge difference. The second film lowers the violence level. Instead of rivers of blood, we get lengthy dialogues. This already hints that revenge is disappearing from Beatrix's life. The third name on the list is Bud. He's killed by Elle, who throws a black mamba snake at him. Elle herself is blinded by Beatrix in their fight, but left alive. Beatrix doesn't even try to track down the man who buried her alive with Bud. She leaves Esteban alone, the terrible sadist pimp who ultimately leads her to Bill. Final scene. A performance for the audience. Beatrix arrives at Bill's estate, sneaks in, and finds him with their daughter. Bill and little BB pretend she shot them. This episode is so important it's worth repeating. Bill pretends to be dead. He does the same thing again a little later. After a staged, performative fight at the table, Beatrix delivers the 5-point palm exploding heart technique that ruptures a person's heart after they take 5 steps. But the catch is that the 5-point technique never existed. Where do we learn about this technique? By the campfire at night under the moon, Bill tells the legend, Pai Mei exactly 1,000 years ago, in 1003 AD, slaughtered every monk at the Shaolin Temple because one of them didn't bow to him. This is a tall tale, and both Bill and Beatrix know it. During training, we see Pai Mei teach Beatrix the 3-inch punch, which later helps her escape the coffin, the eagle claw style, which lets her blind Elle so easily. But we don't see Pai Mei teach Beatrix the 5-point exploding heart technique. Moreover, when telling the legend, Bill says, Pai Mei never taught this technique to anyone, and never will. Even if we assume Pai Mei really is over 1,000 years old and did teach Beatrix this technique, would she have hidden this information from Bill, whom she loved more than life at that time? This seems like a deus ex machina completely uncharacteristic of Tarantino. The movements she makes closely resemble the eagle claw style that comprised most of her training under Pai Mei. This same style was studied by Bill, who undoubtedly recognizes it. Bleeding profusely from a strong blow to the chest, he asks, "Did Pai Mei teach you that move?" Beatrix answers, "Of course." And at that moment shakes her head, "No." This scene mirrors what happened half an hour earlier. I'll pretend to kill you. You pretend to die. This symbolically allows her to complete her revenge without killing him, because they still love each other. There wouldn't be any theory if the director hadn't shown us the credits. That's where the main clue that Bill survived is hidden. Too bad nobody watches the credits. Every single character in the film is shown at a moment when they're still alive, except Bill. He's shown already lying on the grass, implying he's alive in that scene too. Tarantino thought the credits alone might not be enough. He shows another set, but this time only the actors' names from the death list and Beatrix, O-Ren Ishii, crossed out. Vernita Green, crossed out. Bud, crossed out. Ella Driver, huge question mark, since Beatrix doesn't know if she survived. Bill, his name, like Beatrix's, isn't crossed out. From all this, it follows that Bill in Kill Bill was never killed in the end. In the film's final scene, we see Beatrix lies on the bathroom floor, laughs, cries, and only says, "Thank you." For what? To whom? Obviously. To Bill. For raising their daughter, for giving her back to her, for going along with the death performance, the only way to exit the situation gracefully. They didn't want to kill each other, and didn't. Everything ended with forgiveness and mercy. Before the heart-exploding blow episode, Beatrix and BB watch Shogun Assassin, about a Japanese killer and his son who cuts a bloody path across Japan with a samurai sword. Revenge. Cruelty. In the final episode, they watch a 1950s cartoon, Heckle and Jekyll. Tarantino draws an obvious parallel. In Beatrix and BB's life, there will be no more violence. They're like those two magpies from the cartoon. Quentin Tarantino simply couldn't make an absolutely straightforward film without irony and with a clear ending. Even his quote speaks to this. If during work an idea comes to you, that's great. But it shouldn't be a big idea, it should be a small idea from which everyone takes something different. I mean, if you're making a movie about how war is bad, then why even make a movie if that's all you want to say? Just say it. Is revenge bad? Number revenge is like a forest. Tarantino gave us food for thought, but we must find the answers ourselves. And if you believe an artistic work should answer all posed questions, especially Tarantino's works, whether it's "Did Bill die?" or "What does it all mean?" Zrenya, I can only answer you with Jimmy Carr's quote. Revenge is a dish best served cold. And they say revenge is sweet. Therefore, revenge is ice cream. But in the case of Kill Bill, it's ice cream that was never eaten.